Yeah, is your Audacity rolling, Marcus?
Test,
Nope.
test, test.
It can be.
Yep.
Let me know.
Go ahead and get
Just
it
start
going.
it now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
start
just
it
start
now.
it now.
Jeez, I almost forgot.
You got it.
It hasn't been that long
That's
since
it.
I did it last show. Good morning, everyone. This is episode 333 of the OotiniCast. Returning guest Marcus of the Working Class Nerds is back.
Hi.
Jill will kick things off in a moment. This is the raw, rough, unedited video version where we're doing it live. Alright, and that reminds me, because as I usually forget, I will tweet out about the show. Any problems from the guys in the... No, all looking good. Alright. Just tweeting chill on its way. Done.
Alright.
I better record as well. Yep, okay. When you're ready, sir.
Okay. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. You might want to buckle up, baby. This is episode 333, being recorded on Thursday, May 10th, 2018. I'm your host, Jill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey guys, and Solo offers yet more quotes for you to mine.
It does. It's a gold mine already, and we only have the previews. Our guest today, returning from Working Class Nerds, is Marcus. How you doing, Marcus?
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on again.
Yeah, you bet.
Everything's going great. Just got home from work, still a little dirty. The weather's finally turning around here because I'm in New England. So we're finally getting the 70-degree weather, so it's work as much as you possibly can to try to catch up from the 1 month that it was supposed to be 70 that it's not. But in-game, I've been running a lot of ops,
Nice.
helping people kill Isaacs, because, another friend of ours he's got the mechanics, I've got the interrupts down, and we just, help people that aren't getting them down. I've been doing a lot of that. On Sunday, we did a mishmash of things, but last night, what did we do? We finished, what's the one with the pirate ship? What's the operation? Ravagers. Yeah,
Ravagers,
we
right.
finished Master and Blaster, and then Cortani. And then we made a run to do the Gods from the Machine in an hour and a half. We made it all the way to Isaac's. We wiped the first time. Tried again, we wiped, but then it was 11:45 at night, and 5 a.m. comes early, so we called it quits.
Right.
I'm excited because a couple friends of mine, we're going to do the Anathema Conspiracy tonight, so no spoilers, please.
Okay.
I haven't done it. So I do my content a little different than everybody. So when it's, I want to say, like the flashpoint kind of setting, I wait till all of them are out, and then I run them all over consecutive days, rather than do one and play it so much that I get sick of it, and then, and I want all the content all at once, because you can only do the story once.
So you're binging your story, in other words.
Correct.
Right.
Netflix style.
Yes, for the flashpoints. So I did the Iocath a while ago, but I just did the Crisis on Umbara story. Then I did the Capero, which that one was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I think they did a wonderful job on it. A little too many enemies, but it was still really fun. And then tonight we're going to do the Anathema Conspiracy. So I'm really pumped to see how this ends. And then hopefully at the end, don't spoil it, but I'm hoping right at the end, the new antagonist shows Darth Malgus. But other than that, I'm going to be helping Brian from the Bad Feeling podcast get a... how about a Happy Feelings Day? We're going to bring a happy feeling and kind of have a fun night once a week for their guild. And I'm going to help them get that organized and started.
Tio, are you there?
I'm here.
Next week, we're going to get it going. Okay. And other than that, we're just, Nick and I are still doing our Working Class Nerds, having a fun time doing it. We had his friend Al on last week that he plays a lot of games with, and it's fun to hear people that play other games and their opinions on the games they play and why they do it. So,
Absolutely.
Nice.
that's what's been going on with me. And, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. And Solo's coming soon.
It is. It's coming very soon. I'm very excited.
Did you guys get your tickets?
I have not yet, but I will be probably soon, the next few days here. So, how about you, Teal?
Well, regarding Solo, hopefully we will actually get to see it in the cinema, but that requires babysitters and babysitters you can actually trust, that kind of thing. So, we'll see. At least I did get to see The Last Jedi eventually, even if it was on the big TV at home.
I'm sorry, but sometimes watching it at home, and if you have to use the bathroom, you can just hit the pause button or something.
Well, there is that.
Yes.
Yeah. That certainly helped when I watched Black Panther the other day. So again,
how was it?
Wait for that one.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really a Marvel fan, to be honest, but it was all right. I don't see what the big deal was, or maybe I do. But anyway, yeah, it was all right. Now, what else did I want to mention? Now, last time I was on, which was not last show, the show before, where last show was obviously Chill and Dr. Swotor, Minor, I've got a good friend, Swotor Minor, mentioned the Machete Order in terms of how you should watch the original and prequel trilogies, as in the order of the movies. Now, I believe there was... came from someone asked Mark Hamill, what order should you watch the movies in? And I believe he went with, did he go with episode order, sort of chronological? That's one way of doing it. You can also do it in release order, which is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, as in the order the movies actually came out of the cinema. Episode order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But a guy has proposed machete order. Now, what machete order is, just to boil it down, it's firstly you skip episode 1 entirely. You start with episode 4 in New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back, and as you know, towards the end of Empire Strikes Back, you get the big revelation about Luke's daddy, and then you watch episodes 2 and 3 as a kind of extended flashback of, so what happened with Vader, or where did Vader come from, Anakin, etc., etc. And then finally, after 2 and 3, you then watch episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So the whole idea is it's Luke's story, and really anything that happens in episode 1, according to this article, is kind of just noise, really. All the characters they introduce, or for the most part, like Darth Maul, sort of get killed off, and you just never see them again. Yeah, so I kind of like the idea, and when I eventually get my kids to watch Star Wars, maybe I'll do that. Then again, episode 1 is something that will probably appeal to them when they're young. Don't know. What do you guys reckon? Is that how would you prefer to do it? Into order of watching the movies, I mean.
What do you think, Chill?
This is sort of clever, but I don't know. I'm a fan of the order that came out in the theaters, just because that sort of I don't know, the extended flashback thing would be kind of interesting, but I don't know. It's hard to separate what I know from the movies already versus. I assume this is This sounds like it's designed for like if you're gonna introduce someone for the first time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I guess this would work, and it would be one movie shorter, I guess.
Not including 7, 8, and eventually 9.
Right. Yeah, no, I still like the theater, the release order, just because, partly because it kind of keeps things, it keeps the story a lot neater, and then also, like, you're not having this weird, you wouldn't have this weird head fake where it's like all of a sudden you're watching movies with computer, highly advanced computer generation. Star Wars had the first computer generation movies, but it was extremely simple, and it was only that one little bit, and then all of a sudden you'd be going to like this more modern look, and then you'd go back to Jedi towards the end and get a little bit of a 1983 head snap.
Then again, with the enhanced versions of the movies, it's sort of closer to...
That's right. Yeah.
Whichever variant they are.
Right, extra dewbacks, yeah. Plenty, dewbacks aplenty.
Yes. Yeah, okay. What about you, Marcus?
Well, I think that the Episode 1 has such good parts in it. I think overall the movie was terrible, but you get to see the Emperor at the end of the movie standing by when Qui-Gon's burning, and you know that he's the Emperor, and it kind of gives you that eerie feeling. I think when Darth Maul first pops his face and he says, "At last we'll reveal ourselves to the Jedi," that's a moment that captivated me, even though the rest of the movie wasn't great. But it starts the path of Anakin being bad, I guess we could say. But honestly, the next time I watch the movies, I'll try the Machete Order just to try it. My wife always talks about one day just putting it on the TV and giving our daughter no choice to watch it and just let it run throughout the whole day and catch what you can and just see kind of how the order is. Because to be honest, each movie's 2 hours, so that's 10 hours of movie. So that's a good day.
Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that's not including Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah.
So, but Machete Order, I like it.
Yeah, okay. Nothing else really to mention in my week beyond I'm studying, working, familying, all of that good stuff.
I have a question for you about your school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I do. Are you going for your master's?
I'm doing a lot of undergrad subjects. So my degree is in IT because I'm a software engineer, and I'm just sort of branching out into electronic engineering, computer systems engineering.
Good for you.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, no, 2 kids and school and work. Hats off to you. That's an accomplishment. Hold your head high for that, man.
Assuming my sanity survives intact, yes. Thank you. Okay, Phil, over to you.
Okay. Well, let's do a shout out to the chat room. All right. Anu is here. Blay is here as Blackhawk Gaming. Brigade 4407. Dekion's here. Dara Reggie. Electrical Skateboard. Let's see. Libaroha. Hey, Liba. Medulla. Naraga. Pen is here. Hey, Pen. Starry Saber. Stavis and Zwotor. Hello, everyone. And let's see. I actually did also. I did do Anathema Conspiracy and really liked it. I did it on my what I consider my main character, which I haven't actually played for like a few, like multiple weeks because I've been working on leveling different characters for so long. But I went back to my power tech and put her through that. And I heard some people were having trouble soloing it if they didn't have gear. Like if you had a relatively new 70, Anathema has some pretty tricky fights apparently. But it wasn't any problem for someone who is relatively well geared. At least I felt it was pretty easy. And it was very interesting. It was nice seeing Anathema again, and also seeing the update to it. They sort of give you hints as to why the changes have happened the way they have to Anathema itself. And then also you have this little... they do the ending is very clever. I don't want to give it away for Marcus or for anyone. But it's very clever how they are setting up what's going to happen going on down the road. That's all I'll say for now. But it's a very smart way of... taking care of some of the problems that we've all wondered about for whatever is going to happen on down the road with expansions and so on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. I also, because this was a power tech, I went ahead and did the Mako reunion, and that was really interesting. It's also a Kavi Spar, but for this character it was Mako. So that was pretty cool. And I also did Blizz, although Blizz has been out for a long time, but it's another bounty hunter character, so I did Blizz as well. And that one's kind of fun too. Actually, I kind of forgot how much fun the Blizz story one is. And actually, I hadn't done it on a bounty hunter. So when you actually do it on a bounty hunter, Blizz is extra funny because he recognizes you right away, and he's very excited to see you again. So that was a lot of fun.
So, can I ask regarding the Anathema Conspiracy, does it actually lead you, I know you can't give away spoilers, but does it suggest what comes next?
Yeah. It doesn't tell you exactly it's not going to say, oh, here's the next big bad. But what it does do is it says, okay, here's how the Eternal Alliance is going to be shaken up, and this is sort of how things are going to look like going forward for you personally.
All right.
But what actually does happen, as far as what faction comes to light or what big bad comes around or whatever, we don't know.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Let's see. So I did make a. I've done recently. I did a light side Republic, a light side Empire, and now I'm doing a dark side Empire. So I made a dark side Sith warrior, a Marauder.
Yes.
Chill Glory. And Chill Glory is already past McKeb, and I just did Shadow of Revan today, so he's going to be heading to Rishi next time. And it's been a lot of fun. I noticed this, it's funny, I've done, as many times as I've done, Rishi and Prelude and all that, I never really realized until today, like, Jakaro has the translator droid on his chest, of course, but he doesn't need it, because you can understand everything he says, even though the translator droid isn't translating for him. Not really. I mean, technically he kind of does, but everything that Jakaro says, you understand already anyway. And then C2 just kind of like says whatever he wants. He's completely useless. He's even more useless than you think he is, because you actually don't need him to understand Jakaro. It's so crazy. He's only there for his entertainment value, apparently. And it's funny that something about like the way they set it up or something. It never really hit me until today, and it's like, why does he have a translator right on his chest? Anyway, so the leveling, of course, was really, really quick with double XP. I was able to, when I was on my last character, it was a mercenary, so she had a little bit of self-healing. I was actually able to keep the companion like on damage like all the way through 70. Without that, on the Marauder, there were too many fights for quite a while where I just could not do that. It actually so I had to put my companion on heals. I can't remember exactly when, but level 40 or something like that, and then all the way through until McKeb, and then McKeb has that little boost that you can do, and it gives you a little bit of self-healing, and it sort of took over for that, and I was able to put Jason back on damage duty, and we went from there. And then of course you have the droid for all the prelude to Shadow of Revan flashpoints, and so you can it doesn't matter what companion you have then, so I just kept her on damage, and that worked fine. But yeah, it's definitely interesting that there are definitely classes where I'm not really able to not have a healing companion. It's pretty rough. The alternative, of course, if I really wanted to keep having a non-healing companion, is just to use the out-of-combat heal like after practically every fight, which I wasn't willing to do because I was actually enjoying the speed I was doing this at. I did like the dark side romance with Jason. Interesting, because I've done light side warrior, I've done dark side warrior, but it was on a female, and then I've done one male warrior, but I was like doing an RP thing, and he started out dark and then went light sort of halfway through. So I haven't never seen the Jason romance until now. Very interesting, and I really dug it. And she ends up being really, really dark, like darker than I remember her from like the last time I played Dark Side Warrior. And she gets like really vicious, and like every dark side option that's available, she approves or greatly approves. She's totally into it. She's like because she's a Jedi who became a Sith. She's like when someone converts religions and then they become super religious. Like someone who becomes Catholic and they become the Catholic, super Catholic. Yeah, exactly. Like they have to do everything Catholic all of a sudden. It's like Catholic 24/7, 365. And she becomes a super Sith. So she's like, everything dark is great. Every kill is great. Every torture is great. She's like, You're gonna be dark side. I'm gonna be double dark side. That's how Jace is apparently. It's really crazy, but it's kind of fun, and it is really interesting too. And I put her in the Darth Scion outfit, which looks really cool with her like yellow Sithy eyes and all that. Because if you go dark side with Jace, then she changes her look and she gets the Sith eyes all of a sudden, which is kind of cool. And so I have a picture of her in her outfit in the show notes, and then I also have a picture of my character practicing Sith diplomacy, basically holding out one hand and practicing his telekinesis. And yeah, so that's really been interesting. I'm liking that story a lot. And also, Star Wars related, I'm listening to the audible version of the novel Star Wars Last Shot, a Han and Lando novel, and I'm maybe a third of the way done. So it's one of the things that's kind of confusing me in a way, but it's kind of cool, is that they're using 3 different narrators for different chapters.
Oh,
yeah, and it's what if you'd said to me, oh, this audible, they use different narrators for different chapters, I would assume like the different chapters were for different characters' point of view or something like that. No, they just seem to just decide, let's use 3 different narrators. So I'm not sure why they did it exactly. And 2 of them are very well known. It's Mark Thompson. He's done a ton of Star Wars novels. I happen to love him. He does some really good impressions of some of the main characters, so it's always fun to hear him. And then January Lavoie. And I've heard her done some other audible Star Wars novels, but it's always been ones where the main character was a female character. So it was kind of cool to see her here, where it's all Han and Leia, or not Han and Leia, it's Han and Lando, although Leia does appear. And the third I hadn't known before. His name is Daniel Jose Older, and the reason I think is because he's also the author of this novel. So that seems to be why he's narrating this one. And he's really odd, but really kind of cool. He has like this sort of hip hop feel to his narration. It's very like weird at first, but it's very cool. He has this odd cadence to the way he does things, and the way he emphasizes words is really kind of there's like a beat to it almost, and sometimes it's kind of hard to pin down exactly what he's doing differently, but it feels very different. It's actually, I found it very interesting, and so I'm pretty happy with it so far. Story wise, it seems to be kind of what you'd expect. It's sort of like a story involving smugglers and heists and and speeders and ships and all that good stuff. And so it's fine as far as that goes. So, but I'll be interested in seeing how it goes. One of the other interesting things is like the time. It kind of skips forward. There's a little bit of there's some flashbacky type stuff that goes on, but part of it is set around the time that Ben Solo is like a child. So it's kind of weird and disturbing because he is just a normal. On the surface, of course, it's just a very normal like family sort of situation, but what's going to happen later on, which makes it kind of weird. So, yeah. But so anyway, I should be able to finish this before the next episode, but I'm enjoying it so far. So, yeah.
Let me know how it is.
Cool. Yeah. All right. And let's see. We've got the tip of the week, and we've got 2 tips this week. Teal, why don't you go ahead and take the first one?
Our first tip is from N7 Alpha. The legacy of quick travel is the most useful thing I have ever used cartel coins on. It takes a cooldown for quick travel to instant rest. Yes. Yes, it does. And I think I'd already purchased those legacies before they changed it, so it did make everything like instant travel. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. So... yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'd purchased it down to whatever the max at that time was, where instead of 30 minutes, you could get it down to
10 minutes. I want to say
5, even maybe, or maybe it was
not
10.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. It was still a few minutes, but it was And then they bleep. One day it was instant, and it was so much better.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
So I recently created a character on the Satil Shan server,
Mm-hmm.
and man. I have no legacy perks.
Oh,
I have
no.
no money, nothing. And let me tell you, without that quick travel, instant rest, oh my god. Yeah, it's just it. It's a complete different game without all of those.
Perks.
All those
Perks,
buffs,
yeah.
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 Do you have Rocket Boost? Because that's the other thing that I would say
No.
is like first thing to grab. Oh man,
But I have no money.
right?
And
right.
I won't, and I'm not going to take money from the Starforge server to bring it. So that, yeah, that's it. I'm going to try to wheel and deal. I just want to see how long it takes me to be able to get money and be able to sell something
Fair enough.
on the GTN.
Right.
Right. Of course, you could
Very
always
cool.
transfer a character and at least get all the buffs and stuff, all the legacy stuff.
I want to see how long it takes to do. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay. No worries.
Okay. All right, the second tip is from Blay. Hey, and Blay says, during the Skyva fight, it's the fourth boss in Gods from the Machine, around the 30% mark, red lasers will appear and chase the raid team around, but you can ignore this mechanic by all stacking underneath the boss's feet. But as long as you don't wait there too long, just move in, wait a few seconds, and move out once that attack is over. Very cool.
Very cool. Thanks, Blay.
And by random allotment, the winner is N7 Alpha. N7 Alpha, congratulations, you're the winner of a Tonfon or M83R Droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show. And that will bring us to the holo feed. Tio?
A fair bit to cover. Now, as we talked about a month-ish ago, just before he left, Eric Musco got married and is on a long break. And he's still on that long break. So the forums have been reasonably quiet. Though both Keith Koenig, Mr. Producer, the guy in charge, and Charles Boyd, lead creative director, or whatever his title is these days, have been jumping in every now and again. Now, just after Eric went on leave, someone was asking, so what's up with the conquest changes in Game Update 5.9? And he responded, well, Eric's already told you everything that's coming. Though Keith then did summarize, we realize some of you are not happy with the changes they made to conquests, and the 5.9 adjustments will help. Because as we all know, prior to the conquest changes, conquests were kind of broken, people weren't getting rewards, it was taking them engineering work, etc., and customer service, obviously, to try to fix all of that. It was just a big mess. So they replaced it with a newer and maintainable system, and it is a pretty massive revamp, as we all know, and I guess the general consensus is I thought they'd got it right. Though, as Marcus said, it has kind of, before we started the show, it's kind of messed people around a bit in terms of those who would tended to focus their efforts, like on a single day or something like that, can't really do that anymore, because now, with daily objectives, etc., you're kind of obliged to play every day to actually get the conquest points.
Right.
It just makes it really hard for alts. And I don't do the conquest, but the AIE guild that I'm in, and they've been doing it like crazy, going after the medium yield planets, and they seem to like it, but it takes a lot of work to get multiple characters to your conquest goal. Where, if you, as I said before the show, if you have one day to play the game, and you loved conquest the way it was the old way, and you could play from 5 in the morning till 10 in the morning on Saturday, you could do multiple things in those hours. Now, I don't think it's friendly to that, and it's really hard for somebody to do that, to binge. It's almost like what you said about me and my story, binge storing, binge conquest. You can't do it. So a lot of people are upset.
Yep, okay. So, well, Keith goes on to say, it'll take a few updates to get it exactly right. I don't know if those guys are going to be helped by any changes they do subsequently make. Obviously, there are changes that went live in 5.9, which we'll talk about shortly. And Keith does says, obviously, the rewards are coming out reliably, given it's a revamped system, and you'd hope they hadn't screwed it up. So that's all working, and there is a higher participation rate overall. So I guess more people are benefiting. Oh well, so yeah. And they realised it was difficult for alts, and they're hoping some of the changes in 5.9 will address them. And they will continue to adjust. Now, speaking of Game Update 5.9, the Nathema Conspiracy As everyone is aware by now, they did have to delay it by a couple of days, so it came out on the Thursday rather than the Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was simply because they'd found a few issues and they just wanted that extra couple of days to make sure it was the highest quality play experience, in Keith's words. Because one of their key learnings this past year, do not release a game update if it's not ready. So, and as someone who does software, that's you could be driven by a deadline and just get out whatever crap you happen to have ready at that instant in time, or you can wait until it's actually solid.
Right.
Both can be done, and one of them is fraught with issues. All right. Now, they did extend the deadline for downing Isaacs and getting the reward. Remember the title, etc., and the special reward. If you managed to down him between 5.8 and 5.9, you got a title in Master Mode, or sorry, Veteran Mode, which is Master-ish. You get that the special rewards. They said, well, we've delayed the 5.9 by a couple of days, so we'll just extend that, but it didn't kind of work because the timer ran out and they were sort of manually... They're going to fix it, or they have fixed it, but yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. So the timer was pretty much built in regardless, rather than being tied to when the game update came out. So, alright, let's talk about 5.9 itself, Anathema Conspiracy. Chill's already mentioned he's done it. Marcus is going to do it tonight. Yes. The Traitor Saga reaches its dramatic conclusion on the planet Anathema, or Anathema, as you face a deadly enemy determined to obliterate your entire alliance. So, anyway, do that if you haven't already, though I guess many of you will have, and find out what happens there. Double rewards is, that's probably double pretty much everything, XP, CXP, etc., is on, and that will continue through to, I don't know. I'm sure they did mention it, but I don't.
When does the nightlife event start?
5.9.1 on the 22nd.
Maybe it'll go till then.
Maybe. Okay, we'll see. Anyway, double rewards until there isn't any more. Arisso's back, the consular companion, and Kavi Spa and Mako, bounty hunter, and smuggler companions, respectively, are also back. So
yeah, and that was a really good little...
got it wrong way around.
Yeah, it was a good little conversation.
Indeed. All right.
Is it Anathema or Nathema?
It's
I
now
think Charles
Anathema.
Charles Boyd says Anathema. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
If you listen to the audible version of the Star Wars novels, Star Wars: The Old Republic novels, they pronounce it Anathema. So
right.
It sort of either they didn't realize that it was supposed to be pronounced Anathema the whole time, or it was officially changed by the SWTOR people at some point along the line.
I'm listening to the Fatal Alliance one right now on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for the second time, but I think the best Star Wars book is, and go figure, it's the one about Malgus. I don't know what the name
Deceived.
of that book is. Deceived. That book is incredible.
That is unbelievably good. Mm-hmm. Absolutely my favorite as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think what order I prefer them in. Let's see. There's that one. Then there's an Annihilation. That's the one with Theron Shan destroying the Ascendant Spear, or going after the Ascendant Spear, which gets referenced in Kotet Chapter 2, kind of briefly.
Revan's the last one.
And then there's Revan. Yeah, and then there's a fourth one.
Fatal Alliance.
Fatal Alliance. Yeah, that's my least favorite. It's kind of weird. And it also doesn't really connect to anything else, really, very much. I mean, it has some characters that you know from other things, but it doesn't really impinge on anything. Right. And like I say, it's really it's one of those really bizarre. It's very sci-fi-y. I consider it kind of like old style, like sci-fi, that sort of thing. It's very bizarre, but it's not without its merit completely. But it's just not, out of those, it's my least favorite by far.
Yeah.
Revan's probably my second favorite. And then the Annihilation with Theron Shan is third for me.
Okay. All right, what else we got here? Now, game update 5.9.1 coming May 22nd. And that's pretty much just got the Nashida nightlife event coming back.
Hmm.
Suvada, the hut thing for the summer, I guess. Though we usually run this for months.
Right.
Now, Anu, that is Ducky, isn't it? Ducky. I hope they put Conquest into the nightlife event. So somehow integrate the new Conquest changes into nightlife. So you get Conquest points for playing slot machines.
That's a great idea.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Let's
spend
incentivize
those
people
credits.
to gamble. Yes.
Yes.
It is Ducky. Right. What else we got? Right. Talked about all that. Okay. Now, general changes coming in. That came with 5.9. I'm sure you've pretty much all seen them by now. The changes to the Conquest objectives. We've talked about what they had in mind. There are specific changes to the point gains for repeatable and daily repeatable objectives. The repeatables are going up by about 40-ish%, or they went up, and the dailies went up 10% in Conquest points. For those, they've added the GSF, PvP, Warzone, and Flashpoint participation objectives, so just turning up and doing it. Play a Flashpoint or Uprising, so Uprisings count. The Kill X enemies. It is a daily objective, but you can actually spread it over multiple days. That means if you don't kill all of them in the first day, you can do it on the second or third day to actually finish it off.
That's a nice feature.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Or you can do it every day if you're really keen.
Yeah, I ended up getting that one done on Ilum because I was just leveling through Ilum.
Right. Slaughter. Yeah. Repeatable daily objectives for completing 3 and 5 Activity Finder. So that means Flashpoint, Operation, Warzone, GSF, or Uprising. Any of the above. 3 of anything, and then 5 of anything. A daily repeatable objective. Defeat the final boss in any operation. And did we find out whether that included the Golden Poodle, etc., and the one on Ziost?
On Sunday, we'll do it. I'll make sure.
Okay.
We'll go there first. I'll take my team there to see if we get those, because that's a good question to ask. Because the 825 points, that's great. It's good that they include an operation.
Roger that. There's a repeatable objective, infinitely repeatable for crafting 50 items. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't have to be an invasion force or a supply kit. Any of that. Could be literally anything.
Right.
And you can do that as many times as you want. And specific Flashpoint objectives. They're from repeatable to daily repeatable. Aww. But they did increase the points by 361%. So even though you can just do each Flashpoint once, you get a whole lot more points rather than spamming it. They fixed a few issues. There are a whole bunch of class and combat changes, which we will not go through in detail. We did sort of touch on what they were going to do, and that didn't change from what they were saying. Fixes in Flashpoints, Operations, and Uprisings, all around Isaacs. Of course, now they've... I wouldn't say they've nerfed anything really. It's just a whole bunch of bug fixes, which means that if you actually took him down, particularly in Veteran mode / Master mode, between 5.8 and 5.9, you were doing really well, because it looks like there was a little buggy in a few areas, but anyway, it all should run a lot smoother now and be a little bit easier, except for the bit where they fixed an issue with Isaac's targeting logic, where he would occasionally take swipes at dead players instead of doing more useful things. So that actually would help players, but overs and unders. There is now a small chance of a prestige drop for the Wings of the Dragon mount during the Isaac's encounter, which was a reward, but it will not be a legacy-based mount, so just on that character will be able to use it.
And in one of the notes, I see you have the icon for the magnetic tether pickup has been updated to be consistent in both puzzle area and Isaac's encounter. So now, before, when you picked up this tether for the trash area and then for the boss, nobody knew who actually had it. Now you have a green icon above your head, which really helps everybody know, because during the fight, if you use your tether, you can lose it, and then you're going to ask somebody for it, But then in the middle of a fight, you're asking, hey, who has the tether? Who has the tether? Now you can say, hey, Marcus, pass me your tether. I need it right now.
Wow.
It was a great fix. Great fix.
Awesome. All right, items of an economy. We got the 240 legendary augment schematics added to the game. You guys crafted yourself some legendary augments.
They are awesome.
Awesome. Was the schematics hard to get, Marcus? Did you have to wait long before they
No, good friend of mine. So, good friend of mine, Rack Evan, he made me 2 of them. He says he has a Wookiee life debt to me.
Nice.
All right, so the story is, I bought a hyper crate, and we were all in an ops night, and he was talking about that new lightsaber that has, it's the unstable, but like the sides come out at like a 45-degree angle. And he's like, oh, I really want it. And I said, well, if I win it in the crate, I'll give it to you. So, sure as stuff, it was in the crate, and I gave it to him, and now he says he has a Wookiee life debt to me. So when we ran an op, he gave me 2 of the legendary augments, so I put them in my 2 lightsabers, and it does make a big difference.
Nice.
Wookiee life debts.
Small crafting boxes added to the conquest rewards for medium yield planets as an incentive for people doing, not just sticking with the lowest one and going with the medium or the large, or ditto for large crafting boxes to the large yield planets. Trying to convince guilds not to take the easy pickings. Missions and NPCs. The introduction to conquest mission can once again be completed. Woohoo! Imperial players can once again get into the intro mission to the black hole from the Imp fleet, and players can once again get into the intro mission players can once again get into the intro missions for Section X on their respective fleets. So that all got kind of broken. Anyway, that was all deployed on the 10th of May. Now, just a few days ago, we had game update 5.9a, and that fixed an issue that caused the progress through certain achievements to randomly reset after game update 5.9. Yeah, a lot of people were really upset about this. Keith was on the forums talking about it. Essentially, it was unclear how many people it affected or what the circumstances are under which it would affect you, but you had achievements that you were sort of nearly done or partway done, whatever. They just got reset. And that shouldn't have happened. And anyway, apparently they fixed it. Achievements that were previously affected by this have now been restored. So I'm hoping that means they actually restored your progress.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it's not clear. Yeah, anyway.
So it's always hard when you're at 145 NPC kills and your daughter runs downstairs and you have to shut the computer off very quickly and then it resets and you got to start over. I can understand the frustration.
Ouch. Kids, eh? Now, another fix, the objective crafting invasion force no longer automatically completes when the player receives an invasion force item. Oh my god, that's got exploit written all over it, but they have fixed it. So someone just trades you it, or you buy one off the GTN or whatever, and you just got the achievement. Oh dear. They fixed an issue with completed daily conquest objectives resetting when logging into another character. Hey, that's not good. Completed daily objectives now only be completed once per day for each legacy. Oh wow, actually that would have been really good for people, especially with alts, but they fixed it. And the gravestone should no longer be visible after... Alright, so that's a bit of a spoiler. And,
minor
let's not talk
spoiler.
about that. Oh, gotta say I won't miss that shit. I'll cut that out for the recorded version. So that was all fixed. Yeah, let's see. Now, someone claimed they're going to reduce the schematic drops for the 240 augments, and Keith said, "Yeah, no, we didn't. So don't get your panties in a twist. It's all exactly as it was before. So certainly no worse, certainly no better." Apparently, this is Charles Boyd popped in. Someone discovered an NPC who's apparently a potential companion called Paxton Rawle. can find him in the cantina on Drummond Cass. And what Charles said was, he's a work-in-progress promotional item meant for later this year, but he sort of crept out from behind the curtain before he was ready. They'll most likely get him back under wraps, so he'll just disappear in an upcoming patch, and we'll let him know, and we'll find out more about it closer to when he's supposed to appear.
6.0.
Now, another story thing. For those asking earlier, Theron definitely isn't out of the story. They may not focus on him and Lana as heavily as we have in the past, because this storyline in particular really focused on Lana, Theron, and you, Mr. Player. But no plans for them to go anywhere anytime soon, unless it's the result of a choice that's offered. So Theron will be back one day. I won't ask what happens to Theron. And I'll also link to, and you don't have to read this, some background stuff and interpretation some players worked out about the way that Valkorian / Vitiate / whoever did their getting power from killing people ritual thing. And Charles Boyd reckons they were right on the money. So if you want to find out the truth, I would just read that thread. I won't read it here just in case you want to keep it a mystery. Yeah.
Right. There's some, not exactly spoilers for the Anathema's conspiracy, but kind of.
Yeah. All right, that's the SWTOR news, and I doubt there'll be very much until Eric gets back generally. So, and we have no real hint when the next, except for 591, we don't know what game updates or anything is coming beyond that, do we? No hint. Now, Keith did say his next roadmap will be out shortly-ish, weeks. Oh well. Okay. Let's get into EA news just a bit. EA Quarter 4 2018 earnings conference call. Yes, we cover it every quarter. And surprise, surprise, no mention of SWTOR anywhere at all. In fact, Star Wars was kind of downplayed. Maybe the whole loot box thing on Battlefront is kind of...
Has to be.
Let's not touch that. They did mention there's a new Star Wars mobile game coming out later this year. That's about the only new Star Wars game they mentioned. However, SWTOR did appear on the slide. Remember the slide of active console PC titles? There it is. And we also have previously speculated what the hell determines the position of its icon. Because it's just a grid. This one's 3 across, 4 down. Now, last time SWTOR was bottom left, and now it's top left. And Battlefront 2 is bottom right.
Well,
whatever that means.
I don't think... For me, I think the Old Republic is doing okay. And I think, it'll never compare to the money that they get from FIFA. But there still has to be a large number of people that subscribe to this game. Because if you look on, I even see it on the, now Satil Shan, that server's packed. And Starforge is packed, so I can't imagine that it's not doing okay.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Now, my proxy for all this is Google Trends, and according to that, SWTOR, it's, well, at least certainly relative to other games, it's still doing solidly. By other games, I mean Rift and Lord of the Rings Online. And those games are obviously still going concerns, and SWTOR's head and shoulders above them. It's no Elder Scrolls, it's certainly no World of Warcraft, but it's still got a solid following. And, well, firstly, it's a good game, and Star Wars is Star Wars. And there's no other Star Wars persistent world anywhere, and there isn't going to be for probably quite a while, regardless of what EA is working on in the background. So, yeah, no, you're right. It certainly seems to be doing just fine.
Didn't you guys meet playing WoW?
Sorry? Yeah, yes.
You guys,
yes.
That's how you guys met.
Yep.
I can't even get through, level 5. It just does nothing for me.
Well, it has a special place in my heart because really it was my first MMO I really got into.
Right.
So, yeah, there are some deep roots there. And
Sure.
it is worth it, sort of, if you can get through all of that. But it's not Star Wars. There's no lightsabers. So,
Right.
yeah. Now, let's have a quick look at Casey Hudson, who is now running things over at BioWare. Now, there's a couple of blog posts. The first one was basically an intro because he came back. He started BioWare 20 years ago, worked on several titles, including Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect. And he went away for a while. Had amazing experience working at Microsoft on mixed reality and HoloLens, which would be cool if its area of the view wasn't quite so narrow, but they'll get that right, no doubt. Anyway, and then he was called back to BioWare as the general manager. He found his calling. He returned to work on just after Mass Effect Andromeda had come out. And yeah, as you know, they weren't able to deliver story DLC for Andromeda, probably because it was kind of perceived to be a bit of a flop. And yeah. Anyway, however, they're working through the production on Anthem, a game designed to create a whole new world of story and character that you can experience with friends in an ongoing series of adventures. Unlike anything you've played, if you haven't played Destiny. But he didn't say the Destiny part. But if we do it right, it will feel very distinctly BioWare. Now, following up from that, just today, he posted another blog post talking about the future of BioWare, where I'll cover BioWare's evolution from video game studio to post-human AI hive mind. Well, there's a few steps before we get that far, at least, but I'm sure they are on the right track. He's more or less just talking about their vision. They've updated the mission statement to something that we believe is true of our best games, must continue to the future. So here it is, and I've never had any kind of corporate buzzwords or corporate crap speak, just drives me nuts. So mission statements are always kind of terrible, though this one's alright. We create worlds of adventure, conflict, and companionship that inspire you to become the hero of your story. Yeah, that's pretty true.
Until EA ruins it.
Oh, come on. Now, we know EA isn't all bad, etc., etc. They let BioWare do their thing.
I gotta pick on them a little.
Anthem fails, and then, well, I guess we'll see. Or it succeeds wildly.
I think Anthem's gonna be good. I think it has to be. So,
Yeah.
I think,
It has to be.
I think it has to be good, so they're going to do whatever it takes to make a phenomenal game.
Right. And they appear to be pulling all their resources behind it. Though, as we also know, throwing people at something doesn't make it better. But again, the rumors is that Anthem sort of is turning into something good, and they just got to make sure they follow through. So, adventure, he talks about companionship, because companions is something they've been running with for a long time, having companions in games, and that really is something that made SWTOR specifically kind of special to me, because I'd never had a game or played a game where there were companions in that way, as in NPCs who would sort of become part of your team. And obviously Knights of the Old Republic had it as well. Mass Effect, I never did play Mass Effect, but no, that's very much of them. And story, of course, though. Strangely enough, they don't really mention story. I guess you become the hero of your own story. He talked about Anthem being a story you can experience with friends. What about multiplayer? Just say you don't want to play with randos. What happens if I don't have games to play with, etc., etc.? In a BioWare game, you should feel like the story is about you. You create your own character, you decide what happens next, and you become the hero. Yeah, and is that possible in a multiplayer game? Well, SWTOR certainly gave it a bloody good go. Though, did they succeed in making the story about you, Mr. Alliance Commander?
Yes.
All of us. Commanders, alliances. Yeah, sort of. I guess it's a massive suspension of disbelief when we're like doing flashpoints or ops together. We can't all be the commanders of the Alliance after all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
but
forget about that part.
I guess I'm talking just more along the lines of the class story. Before I didn't do group content until a year and a half ago or so, and all I did was the story, and yeah, it was great.
Well, anyway, with Anthem, they're taking this problem head on and structuring the entire game design to provide a specific solution for this. And they'll tell us how that's all going to work later. It creates a unique experience where you have control over your own story, but your story is set in an ever-changing multiplayer world. And yes, even though Anthem is meant to bring out the best parts of playing as part of an online community, you can choose to play through the story with only your friends, or even on your own. Well, that's good. They're trying something really different here. Well, actually, isn't that what SWTOR is? Doesn't that let you do exactly that? But yeah, anyway. Anthem represents one way to deliver innovation and new experiences in the spirit of our mission. Teams envisioning future Bioware games, including one that's very Dragon Age. Okay, we'll see. And in a few weeks, we'll be showing Anthem live to fans at EA Play in Hollywood. Okay, so that we'll get a decent look at it rather than just that tech demo is the only thing we've seen so far. Alright, EA Play. Alright, there are rumours, just moving on, there's rumours of a Dragon Age game. Big mainland game in the works, etc., etc. Could be a lot of time. They're going to wait till they get Anthem out. It's just hints, basically.
Right.
So if you enjoyed Dragon Age, there may be another one of those from BioWare. Alright, that's enough BioWare news. Let's just, because time is running out, let's just quickly touch on, there's another animated series coming from Dave Filoni, now that Rebels has wrapped up, called Star Wars Resistance. Set for fall debut, all new animated series will focus on the era before Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
I never heard
yes.
this.
Okay, so the weird part is, it's anime style. So not the kind of Rebels, etc., Clone Wars, anime style.
Well,
So,
kids love Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, I suppose, sure. I wait and see. If Dave Filoni's doing it from all his previous work, clearly it'll be probably pretty bloody good. So, yeah.
Wow, this is the first time I've heard of it, so this makes me really excited. I'm going to Google it as soon as the show's over.
Yeah. We had some hints that Filoni was going to be working on another series, so this kind of confirms that was based in some truth. So there we go.
Did you guys finish Rebels?
I haven't yet, but
Me
that's... I dropped my cable TV, so I have to figure out a good way to get it. So, actually, I still have Netflix. If it's on Netflix still, I guess I'll eventually be able to see all of it there.
I think it is.
Yeah, the last time I checked it, they had it, but it was like a season or even two back. So.
Sure.
So according to Filoni, the idea for Star Wars Resistance came out of his interest in World War II aircraft and fighter pilots. My grandfather was a pilot and my uncle flew and restored planes, so that's been a big influence for me. There's a long history of high-speed racing in Star Wars. I think we've captured that sense of excitement in an anime-inspired style, which is something the entire team had been wanting to do for a long time, for better or for worse. Compelling narrative for an untold moment in the Star Wars galaxy, etc. Yeah, alright. And apparently BB-8 is in there. And there's going to be a lot of flying, so presumably starfighters. So that's kind of awesome. Alright, sure.
Cool.
Now something I just saw today, Masterbed Jedi linked to a rumour that the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is in the works.
Yes.
Being directed by a guy named Stephen Daldry, who I've never heard of. Anyone?
No, but that excites me a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope it starts right after episode 3.
Apparently they started the writing last year, sufficiently far along, and art department is in full pre-production mode. Industrial Light and Magic's involved in London, So work's
Looks like,
happening.
yeah, Daldry's he's been nominated for 3 Oscars. He is a director who he does a lot of like Oscar type films, like Billy Elliot, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, The Reader, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cool.
2020, December 2020 is allegedly, and this is complete rumor. It has not been officially announced anywhere. December 2020 is when the Obi-Wan movie would come out. What do you reckon they'll call it? Kenobi is following the Solo trend. Be the obvious choice, but
yeah, it could be Obi-Wan. It could be Obi-Wan, I suppose.
Yeah. Yes.
Or just Ben Kenobi.
Or just
Ben. I think Obi-Wan would be more likely, but
yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, Kenobi would work though too.
All right.
Such an unusual name. It's like it's so funny. It's like so deeply ingrained into our brains, and yet no part of Obi-Wan Kenobi like you see anywhere else, pretty much. So.
And let's just finish with some Star Wars toys. There's this Lego Y-Wing. Only $199 US that came out on Star Wars Day. Oh, and may the 4th be with you, everyone, for Star Wars Day. I know we're a bit late, but you know. Yeah. A Lego UCS Y-Wing. And yes, that is a fancy looking ship, but $200 is a lot of currency to spend on that.
Yeah, it's kind of bigger than it looks, I think, because there's a little droid there behind the cockpit, and it's pretty small compared to the ship. So that's going to take you a while to build.
Unless it's a mini fig.
So
maybe.
But yeah, I think you're right. It's just big.
They had the Millennium Falcon. I get emails with all like the deals of the day from IGN, and I saw the deal on the Millennium Falcon was $800. I said, "Oh my god, how long does it take to build that thing? And where do you put it once it's done?"
Right.
Did Blake get a? He got this Millennium Falcon, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he did a whole Twitter series as he built it. There's different.
Look back
there are different Falcons.
Huge.
Yeah,
Really
and I think he did have one of the bigger ones, if not the biggest one. I'm not sure which one though.
Oh, that's a perfect segue. Let's talk about the biggest Star Wars toy ever. Hasbro began a campaign to allow fans to back projects in order to make them a reality, and so this one is a Jabba's sail barge. Sail barge.
Wow.
Your backers have to put down a hefty $500. They want the target was to get 5,000 backers to make the project reality, and with 3 days left to go, they're at 58.72. So they made it. It will measure 4 feet long, with decks that are tall enough to fit 3.5-inch Star Wars figures. Oh my God! Side panels can also be removed to get more access to the ship's innards.
Wow.
And included with the ship is, of course, a 3.5-inch Jabba the Hutt and trusty yak face.
Can you imagine being a kid and being able to have that? I mean, I thought I was the coolest kid in the world when I had the Ninja Turtles lair. You know, hey Johnny, I've got the sail barge. Oh my god.
Yeah.
How many different ways to kill Jabba?
4 feet long. That is one big ass toy.
Real.
Now, it's not Lego or anything, so you don't have to make it. You just get the sail barge. It's just a big ass toy. So, how cool is that?
Imagine that package being delivered.
Now, it's not too late. You can get one yourself. Well, actually, let me just check. It may be actually be too late. Yeah, it's too late. So, I wonder if they'll just sell it anyway. So, all the backers, obviously, they put down their $500 and they will get one. They ended up with 8,810 backers.
Wow.
And they will get themselves one sales barge.
Right.
Woohoo. Okay.
So
Yep.
I did like Dekion's story. The sequel to Obi-Wan will be Obi 2. The only thing I want to know from the Obi-Wan movie is like how he manages to like age like 50 years in like 18 years. Like how does he go from being Ewan McGregor, to Alec McGuinness?
Via some third actor, I'm guessing.
Possibly.
I was going to say the twin sons.
Yeah, exactly. There's gonna be a lot of sun damage in this movie.
Yeah. I guess they could use a virtual puppet, though they don't like doing that. As in merging Ewan McGregor into Alec Guinness and just having that sort of composite, digitally created character. No, that would be awful. That would be terrible. Now, I did want to mention Floridan, he said, a Diablo-style Star Wars action RPG would be amazing. Not sure why that hasn't been done. So, obviously, the isometric perspective, the little guys running around killing stuff, so little stormtroopers and blasters, and yeah, I gotta say, I would kind of enjoy that. So, make it so, EA. Would that somehow cheapen Star Wars in some way? No, it would be really fun. Was there a mobile game that was along those lines?
Yeah, kind of. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, you could run around and do some fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Diablo style. Win. Alright, anything else we would like to cover before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, that's it.
Alright then, that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live, semi-bi-weekly on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby, and thank you to the chat room, and thank you to Marcus.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and we'll see you next time.
Alright, keep recording, guys. Everyone, thank you for watching. Chill and someone, and maybe me, will be back next episode, and we'll see what happens after that. I just may have to take another break for study reasons, as I did last time. But anyway, thank you all for watching. May the 4th be with you, and or serve you well. Take us out, Chill.
All right. Stopping the stream, and